Hey there! Have you ever wondered whether Willy Wonka is actually a sociopath? It's a question that's been debated by fans of the beloved children's book and movie for years. While he may seem like a lovable eccentric with a passion for candy making, some argue that his behaviour points to something a little bit darker. One aspect of Willy Wonka's personality that has been called into question is his charismatic manipulation. He has an undeniable charm that draws people in and makes them want to follow him wherever he goes. However, some argue that this charm is actually a form of manipulation, used to get what he wants from others without any regard for their well-being. Another trait that has been called into question is Willy Wonka's lack of empathy. He seems to be completely indifferent to the suffering of others, even when it comes to the children who are hurt or injured during their tours of his factory. Some argue that his lack of empathy is a hallmark trait of sociopathy. So what do you think? Is Willy Wonka really a sociopath, or is he just misunderstood? In this essay, we will explore both sides of the argument and come to our own conclusion about one of literature's most enigmatic characters. Charismatic manipulation. Okay, let's talk about charismatic manipulation. You know, the kind of manipulation that people use to get what they want by being charming and persuasive. Willy Wonka has it in spades. He's got that twinkle in his eye and that mischievous grin that makes you think he's up to something. And he is. He wants those kids to do exactly what he says, and he uses his charm to make them think it's all just a game. But it's not really a game, is it? It's a test. And if you fail, you're out of the factory for good. Think about Veruca Salt. She was so convinced that she deserved everything she wanted simply because she was wealthy and entitled. And when she didn't get her way, what did she do? She threw a tantrum. But Willy Wonka knew just how to handle her. He manipulated her into thinking that the golden goose was hers for the taking if only she could be patient and kind. Of course, we all know how that turned out. And let's not forget about Augustus Gloop. He was so easily manipulated by Wonka's promises of unlimited chocolate that he didn't even notice when he fell into the river of chocolate. Willy Wonka played on his weakness for sweets and used it against him. So yes, Willy Wonka is a master of charismatic manipulation. But does that make him a sociopath? That's up for debate. Lack of empathy. Now when it comes to the lack of empathy, Willy Wonka is in a league of his own. He seems to have no regard for the safety or well-being of the children who visit his factory, despite claiming to care about them. For example, when Gloop falls into the chocolate river and is sucked up by a pipe, Wonka doesn't seem overly concerned. Instead, he instructs his Oompa Loompas to fish him out with a stick. This callous attitude is repeated throughout the film as each child meets their fate in increasingly bizarre and dangerous ways. At first glance, it may seem like Wonka's lack of empathy is simply due to his eccentric nature. However, upon closer inspection, it becomes clear that there is something more sinister at play. Sociopaths are known for their inability to feel empathy or remorse for their actions, and this description fits Willy Wonka perfectly. Another example of this lack of empathy can be seen when Violet Beauregarde turns into a blueberry after chewing gum that isn't quite ready yet. Rather than showing concern for her health or well-being, Wonka instead focuses on how he can use her as a marketing tool for his new line of three-course meal gum. Willy Wonka's lack of empathy cannot be ignored or brushed off as mere quirkiness. His disregard for human life and suffering is deeply concerning and raises questions about his true nature as a sociopath. So in conclusion, Willy Wonka's behaviour in the movie Charlie and the Chocolate Factory can be interpreted as that of a sociopath. His charismatic manipulation of the children and their parents is evident throughout the film. As he lures them into the factory with promises of candy and adventure, he also shows a lack of empathy towards those around him. His own employees, the children, are injured and put in danger throughout the tour. Some may argue that Willy Wonka's actions were simply part of his eccentric personality. It is important to remember the potential harm caused by his behaviour. Sociopaths often use charm and manipulation to get what they want, without regard to the well-being of others. Overall, it's up to each individual viewer to decide if Willy Wonka meets the criteria for sociopathy. However, it's important to consider the potential consequences of such behaviour in real-life situations. Thanks guys for watching.